right. Hey there. So this is an example problem on how to put certain things into this form called a+bi form, which is complex form for a complex number. Every number is actually a complex number. Every number that you'll typically ever come across. So if we start off here, the first step is we want to rationalize that radical. So if we focus on that, the negative is the I. I is equal to the square root of -1. So we actually want to do a couple things here. We want to take out any square numbers that are factors of 72. So we want to take out numbers like 4, 9, and 25. Those are the big three. Most every radical that you rationalize is going to be divided by one of these things, or maybe multiple, more than one 4, or a 4 and a 9, or so on and so on. And that's just one way that we can split this all up. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take the negative part out of it, because that's going to turn into I. Then we want to take out any of these kinds of numbers that we can. And it looks like we can take out a 4. So this would be 4. If we take half, that'd be 36. And then if we take a half again, it would be 18. Right, so 18 times 4. Okay, and then here I can take out 9. So I'm doing prime factorization kind of, except I'm trying to take out specifically square numbers. So square root, square root, square root. So all of this, if we put it all together here, there's an I, there's a 2, square root of 4, there's a 3, square root of 9, and then there's some leftover. And of course, there will be leftover if it doesn't have a square root. There is no square root of 72. So you'll have some leftover. However, a lot of 72 can come out. And if we try to reorganize this, I would say that this is 6i square root of 2. You can put the I on the other side if you want, but it kind of looks like it's under the radical if you do it that way. And so typically teachers like to see the I after the number but before the radical. That's like the most common way that people like to see this written out. So we've got this part figured out. That was step 1. Rationalize the radical and simplify. So we just did that. Now we're on step 2. Split the fraction and simplify. Well, if we split the fraction, let's rewrite it first. Plus 6i root 2 over 6. If we split it, then it would look like this. So each numerator gets the denominator. And then I can just simplify each of the fractions as much as I can. Which actually, they simplify quite a bit here, because 18 over 6 is 3, right? So -3, 6 over 6 is 1. So that's just I root 2. Now, when we're writing it in a+bi form, you put the b and then you put the I. And that's why I typically actually like to write it like this anyways, is because that's actually more like a+bi form. Typically, teachers like to see the I in front of the radical, but if you're going to write it in a+bi form, then you have to write the I after the radical. Just be careful that it doesn't look like your radical bar goes over the I, because the I already has a radical of its own, so it doesn't need another one. And that would be it. So that would be the final answer. That's all of that put into a simplified a+bi form.